blue sky. Please tell us why you had to hide away for so long. Where did we go wrong?
Oh. Have a seat. Who are you? I'm your businessman, you know, for your videos. I didn't know I had one of those. Sure you do. Now, can you explain to me what has been happening with your channel recently? Yeah, about that. I've kind of been losing interest in making videos. Seems I've been, like, making them without any heart or passion or whatever recently. It just wasn't that fun. So I just decided to stop making reviews. Plus, sort of kind of feeling like reviewing cartoons is dumb. Well, what are you doing with your life now? Well, I've been watching a lot of movies. Hey, you can start reviewing movies, animated or not. I don't think people would care. Yeah, but everyone reviews movies. It seems like there's an up-and-coming online movie reviewer every day, thinking that their opinions on movies somehow matter. Those knobs will review Marvel franchise reboot action bullshit movies. You can review old weird movies that no one remembers or are just plain weird and bad. Like the Nostalgia Critic? Yeah, that's a hard pass. Well, reboots are in, and if you want your channel to survive, then you're gonna need to reboot your videos. I guess there are some movies that I could review. Great! So now we're just gonna have to think of a reboot title name for you. You know, you can't just keep the same name, you gotta make a tagline or some subtitle, so people know that it's a reboot and completely different. Let's see. Disco Spider Unleashed? Nope. What about Disco Spider Unlimited? No. Disco Spider Unbreakable? No. Ooh, I got one. Ooh. Reboots. I hate reboots. I know it's as much of a trend to hate reboots as to make reboots, but most reboots, spin-offs, sequels, or what have you, tend to be awful. Granted, there are always exceptions to this, such as films like Mad Max, Fury Road, and that's it. But most reboots exist for the sole purpose of making money. I mean, you can technically say that about any movie or TV show. However, something like Fury Road or even Star Wars The Force Awakens are made with effort and care. The people behind those films actually cared about making a good movie. Can't say the same about the other shit reboots. Now recently we have been getting a shitstorm of TV reboots, such as Will and Grace, Roseanne, Lost in Space, X-Files, The Powerpuff Girls, DuckTales, MacGyver, and even something like the fucking Love Connection. Okay! But if we're gonna talk about the king of reboots, and when I say king I don't mean the quality, but the masters of pushing the trend of shoving nostalgia down people's throats, it's definitely Nickelodeon. Nickelodeon has been super 90s recently. It's like they just found out that nostalgia sells, so they've been spamming the shit out of 90s stuff. It's like at least in every store there has to be one Hey Arnold shirt or Rugrats socks or even a cat dog wallet. Anything you can slap an Angry Beavers or Wild Thornberrys on, it exists. It gets even worse when they have their own block dedicated to pander to 90s kids. But now I feel like Nickelodeon has went overboard by now deciding to reboot their old shows. Making a shit ton of merchandise was harmless and honestly not that bad of an idea. Oversaturated, yes, but at least now I can get a Rocko's Modern Life t-shirt or what have you. Things to celebrate the old shows and to remind people that these shows still do exist. But rebooting is a whole different level, and Nickelodeon plans on doing a lot of these. They've so far announced a Rocko's Modern Life and Invader Zim TV movie, a Ren and Stimpy short, and the unofficial return of Rugrats, Wild Thornberrys, and Rocket Power. Before we see any of those, let's check out our first current Nicktoons reboot, the Hey Arnold Jungle Movie. Before we get to the actual TV movie, I guess I should quickly share my thoughts on the original Hey Arnold TV show. Like pretty much everyone, I liked it. Now, I don't think it's as amazing as everyone says it is. I don't consider it to be the best cartoon show, or even the best Nicktoon. However, I still do enjoy the tone and characters of the show. Sometimes the show can get too repetitive, but not that much. If you want my opinions on the original Hey Arnold movie, I haven't seen that in a long time, but from what I can barely remember, it wasn't really that memorable. So the movie opens with Arnold saying hi to everyone to reintroduce these characters we haven't seen in a decade. Then Mr. Simmons introduced a school project at the fucking last day of school that, of course, no student does, except Arnold and Gerald, because the prize is a trip to the exact jungle Arnold's parent got lost in. What a coincidence. It's almost like this is some sort of TV movie or whatever. Then Arnold and Gerald make a documentary of them building a home for Monkey Man, a random character that only past fans will understand. Then homeless people destroy their house for him for some reason, so that falls apart. Then Helga is there watching, feeling all sad, so she goes to her Batman cave-like hideout with a bunch of tapes of Arnold. Wait, what?
Major creep factor aside.
Wait, hold on. What? Helga has like 1,000 tapes of Arnold, just whatever. Let's just branch that aside. This is like invading someone's whole life. What is this, the Truman Show? Oh boy. And Nickelodeon allowed this? And this is a character that we're supposed to like. I mean, I know it's played off for laughs, but this is really fucking creepy. Like, not even a joke side. This is really creepy. But it's a cartoon, it's a movie. It's okay. Let's just move on. Let's move on. Gerald then makes a whole video about why Arnold is so great and everyone talking about how amazing he is. Way to make a likable character, everyone in town talking about how amazing and perfect and wonderful he is. This is definitely not dehumanizing, making him godlike. Who is he, Michael Jordan from Space Jam? Of course they win the contest immediately, even though they're past the due date, so the whole class packs their bags and heads to the jungle. Wait. Why the jungle? The school has a field trip prize and they decided to send 15 kids to the jungle. Not Paris, not Italy, not nowhere in Europe, not even, Asia or China. The fucking jungle! Yeah, sure. Why not? So they take a boat to their destination, and the guide happens to be Arnold's parents' good friend. The guy who's responsible for his parents leaving him. But of course they don't fight because Arnold is a good, boring kid. So during this whole boat scene, Helga decides to tell Arnold she loves him, which I'll talk about more specifically when we talk about the characters. Then they are interrupted by the same pirates who took over Captain Phillips' boat or something. Then they crash and end up lost in the jungle. Gee, haven't heard that one before. Then it turns daytime and they start walking to their destination. Then they get there immediately. Then it turns out, oh boy, the tour guide isn't Eduardo, but this evil pirate guy this whole time! Whoa, plot twist! Whoa! So they're captured and caged like in the Jimmy Neutron movie. Then the villain tells everyone he and Arnold was gonna go look for his parents instead of doing this dumb tour guide stuff. So everyone gets mad at Arnold, but then they immediately stop being mad at him and help the only important characters in this movie escape. So they go to this place where they believe Arnold's parents are, but the villain and some of his hench pirates secretly follow them. So then on the journey to the village where Arnold's parents are, there's a lot of booby traps, and a bunch of the villain's hench pirates die, which is pretty fucking metal. Then they show up, then the villains show up, then they fight, the real Eduardo shows up, the villain falls off cliff, then he comes back again and falls again. Then the people in the village start crying and boom boom, Arnold's parents wake up from their big sleep and they reunite. Helga and Arnold kiss for the sole reason of fan service and boom, end of movie. So let's talk about the plot. So the first 20 or so minutes plays out as a regular episode of Hey Arnold. It captures the tone pretty well, and the movie isn't really modernized, except for the fact that Rhonda loves her smartphone, even though at the same time Helga uses VHS tapes, not like DVDs or a USB or something. I don't know, it doesn't really matter. The first 20 minutes isn't so bad. We're reintroduced to these characters, and there are some nice moments, but right after the characters leave the town, the movie starts to become shit. The film's pacing is way too fast. They don't give any time for characters to sink in or digest the environments in their surroundings. We barely get any character interaction that isn't forced or some dumb joke, but we'll get to that more when we talk about the characters. It seems like the script had beats it needed to get down, like the boat crashing, then them going to the hideout, the villain reveal, the characters escaping, another journey scene, then the climax. And instead of filling them with smooth transition scenes that can like develop a character or explore the jungle like an adventure movie, they just go, then this happens, then this happens, then this happens, with nothing in the middle. And that leads me to my next point. There is no adventure in this movie. It's marketed as a jungle adventure movie, but they forgot to add any sort of adventure in it. It's just characters walking place to place without much in the middle. Imagine the Indiana Jones movies or the Lord of the Rings, where instead of them exploring the environment or like creatures slowing them down on their journey, it's just Indiana Jones walking for 2 hours. He goes to one village to the other without much threats or exploration, thus making this movie really boring. Since nothing happens throughout the film, take the new Jumanji movie, Welcome to the Jungle. Sure, the movie had a lot of flaws, such as Kevin Hart being in the film, but they do a good job with the adventure aspect in the movie. Each place the characters explore look really cool and are pretty fun. Some scenes even help the characters grow and better their relationships with the crazy shenanigans they're in due to some locations in the jungle. Again, not a great film, but at least they knew how to be entertaining at the very least. Can't say the same for this movie, however. Then we have the animation. Honestly, the animation isn't so bad. They did a good job modernizing the characters to make them look good, but still in the same style as the show. Except for the boarding people, they look nuts. But besides that, they don't really try to do anything that impressive for a TV movie, except use CGI, which doesn't look that good. And have camera movement, which looks bad because they never did that on the show, so they're not used to such complicated cinematography. Or any cinematography for that matter. I do like the music at the beginning, to readjust us to the Hey Arnold tone, but after they leave the town, the music starts to feel bland and not that memorable. Also, a lot of the backgrounds look very generic, and there's no scenery that looks interesting or someplace cool to explore. Boring location designs for a boring movie. Then we have the characters. First we have Arnold. He is very bland. Like, Jesus, he's the main character, but there's nothing to him. Of course we like Arnold because we spent 100 episodes with him, but besides the show and the other movie, he goes through absolutely nothing. No character growth or development or anything. He has the romance between Helga, but they don't even show him warming up to her or any slight hints he's becoming attracted to her. Usually in an adventure movie, or any movie for that matter, a character is supposed to have some growth. But they present absolutely nothing here, making me not care about Arnaldo to the slightest. The reason why we like Arnold in the show, even though he didn't have much of a personality, because he was really nice and always helped others, which made him likable for his sweetness towards others. Or some other gay shit like that. He always played the straight man during weird situations and interactions with the other wacky side characters. In this movie, him being the straight man would have worked if he interacted with the jungle or with the other characters during dangers in the jungle, but we don't get any of that. Then we have Gerald. He's in this movie. Not much more than that, besides being Arnold's funny black sidekick.
Now I've seen everything.
Then we have Helga, who is by far the worst character in this movie. Now look, I've always had complicated feelings towards Helga. Most of the time she was really likable and relatable and funny, but then there were times where she really got under my skin. This whole movie, she really got under my skin. First we have the whole tape thing, which is weird, but I'll let that slide, I guess. But then we have that one scene where she randomly tells Arnold how she feels about him. It comes out of left field because she's been trying to hide the secret for years, pretending to hate him so we wouldn't know, but now out of any time she decides is the good time. And it's not like she prepared for it or anything, because this is a huge deal, telling someone you like them, especially when we spent 100 episodes hearing her go on and on of how much she loves him. And I know everyone ships them, and of course people ate this shit up even though the execution was horrible. Then after the pirates ruin the moment, she starts being a jerk to him, which is like a fuck you to Arnold, the person you told that you liked, continuing to be an asshole to him. Maybe if she stopped being an asshole to him and avoided him in general because she was too embarrassed, then Arnold realizing he misses her and the attention she gave him, even if it wasn't the best type of attention, he'd realize he feels something for her. You know, character development. That takes effort, and, you know, movies aren't supposed to have effort, or even character arcs for that matter. Pfft, no. Now let's talk about that whole Arnold and Helga thing at the end. Holy shit, that was so forced. Like, the first time I saw this film, I couldn't look at the screen because the execution was just so terrible. And again, because people ship them so much, they ate this shit up. There are so many better ways you could have made them end up, but you couldn't even develop their relationship and expect me to finally care about them kissing? Fuck you. And what's even worse is the end where Arnold tries to hold Helga's hand, but she gets mad. Isn't that what you wanted? Also, this shows that nothing has changed and them kissing and stuff was pointless. That's the only forced relationship in this movie. come from? But anyways, now let's talk about the other characters. All the other characters are really pointless. They serve nothing besides being from the old show. Like, they were cool at the beginning, but they didn't need to be on the adventure. The little screen time they gave them took away from the potential character arc the other 3 characters could have had. Then lastly, let's talk about the villain. The villain sucks. He is very generic. We know absolutely nothing about him, and his motivation was so freaking weak. He's just your typical guy who wants to be rich and stuff. That's it. That's the only threat we got in this damn movie. The rest was just harmless, dumb stuff. And the way he dies is so dumb too, because he like falls off a cliff, then comes back, and then falls again. How anticlimactic is that? This movie is bad enough, but what's even worse is that people actually like this movie. Like, a lot. Now, if you do like this movie, then that's okay. If you found something in here to admire, then that's fine. But like, a lot of people, and I mean a lot of people, are gushing about how this movie and how great it is. And to this day, I still don't understand why. There's absolutely nothing in this film that is well done. Time to play a game. I'm gonna give you a question, and I'm gonna give you 3 answers to that question, and you're gonna have to guess the best answer from what I've given you. You ready? Okay, so the question is, besides money, why was this movie made? Was it A, nostalgia, B, a jar of mayonnaise, or C, because the creator had a really interesting idea for this film and really wanted to get the series out and wanted to finish it and wanted to have an amazing conclusion to this epic, amazing nostalgia. Now, I could be wrong, but a large majority of people who are infatuated with this TV movie only love it for the sole reason of nostalgia. And I get it, nostalgia is a great thing. I get really nostalgic watching shows like 16 and Total Drama, shows I watched a lot as a kid. But there's a certain time where you gotta let go of the theory of everything in your childhood is great, and start critically judging shows and movies on their merits, not because you had some sort of attachment to them. Enjoying watching something and thinking something is good are different things. I can watch a movie like Jonah, a VeggieTales movie, and still enjoy it. I would not say that it's a good movie, because I can separate my own bias towards it. A lot of people cannot. They see a movie that's based on their childhood and immediately praise it. But hey, everyone is entitled to their opinion, even if it's very biased and bullshit, but to each their own. But when people start to praise mediocrity or just straight up shit, to the point where companies decide to make more to please people and make more movies without any sort of effort, then that's when this becomes a problem. Take the Marvel movies. Everyone praises them for being the greatest films, when they're just fine at best. But now we're getting like 7 superhero movies a year, and they're not even that good. If we start to praise shit like the Arnold Jungle movie, we're gonna get a bunch of cartoon reboots that won't have any effort in them, such as Captain Planet, Angry Beavers, Daria, Beavis the Cowardly Dog, Chalk Love, Mighty Scratch, Kung Fu World, Under the Billion Dildo, Shouty, Joe, Naked Animal, Chaotic, Mario Monster Brain, Adventures of the Gummy Bears. So that was the Arnold Jungle movie. It's trash. It's an uneventful borefest that is only alive due to the fact that it will make money and is only liked for nostalgic reasons. The movie is bad, but the thing surrounding this movie is a piece of shit. But whatever, that's enough of this movie. Arnold's got his parents back, there's nothing left to it, who gives a shit? That's the end of Arnold, no more, we're done. Let's leave.
We were in slavery.
Nothing is perfect.
Listen, kids, that land is rightfully ours, and the only...
What is this? What?
I said, what message does my lord have for his servant? Oh, really?
Mom? Dad? Let's go!